How about a meal worth of chips? A Vegas like, put it all on black, and the rest on the flight. I be up all day, I can rest on the flight.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Talk of New York Chef. You already know who it is by now, and if you don't, you better ask somebody. I don't come alone. Crooked Smile's on his way to God knows where to get some tattoo I have no idea about. So he's not on here. But I'm bringing in the big homie, Mike Larkin. Mike Larkin, the guy who knows everything about wrestling. What's going on, my brother?
Oh, I'm feeling good, Chef. We are predicting Slammiversary, which for the first time, Slammiversary is on a Saturday this year, followed by Extreme Rules Sunday. So since WWE has a pay-per-view Sunday, we have our first ever Impact Wrestling pay-per-view taking place on a Saturday, that being Slammiversary. Man, 2002 to 2020, great times, some bad times in the history of Impact Wrestling, total nonstop action wrestling, whatever you want to define it. We are here. It is now Slammiversary 2020. I'm looking forward to predicting the card.
No, I completely agree with you. Listen, so we were talking before this, before I introduced my next. We were talking before this, and the person said something. So I get this is called Slammiversary, but because it's going to be her anniversary of joining the podcast world and other stuff as well, I'm going to just hashtag this for herself. This is the Demonversary. And I got Nicola, a.k.a. the Demoness. How are you, my sister?
Hello, my sweet mortals. Hey, no, I'm good. I'm really good. And thank you for that. That is amazing. I'm really good. How are you both doing?
Good. Feeling good.
Listen,
it is really...
What happened? Go ahead. No, go ahead. My fault.
It's really weird that exactly a year ago, you two lovely, awesome legends brought me into this world. And it's really weird that we're doing the same show we did this year, last year. So if it weren't for you two legends, I wouldn't be half of what I am now. And I've said thank you so many times. I'm going to say it again. Thank you both for bringing me into this world.
Very welcome. Feelings mutual.
Absolutely.
And I love you both.
Listen, you're obviously a passionate Impact person. You obviously are super amazing. If anybody doesn't know the Demoness's work, please throw a comment in there. I will get you whatever video you want me to prove how awesome she is. So on top of that, now we did do a Slammiversary curse podcast because Larkin did say there were some highs, lows, and everything in between. So there is one of those out there. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not going to host this, because I was super surprised when I asked him to read me over the card just to, double check, like the discount double check. He said there were 6 matches. I said, okay, well, you know what? Since you know everything, which is no surprise, the professor, I'm going to let my man Larkin host this. I'll throw my 2 pennies into the conversation, and we'll just have some fun with this.
All right. Well, yes, as of right now, there are 6 matches, and we are recording this on a Monday, so they'll probably add maybe 1 or 2, possibly tomorrow, on the Impact Wrestling before the go-home before Slammiversary. But right now we have 6 matches that we are going to discuss. So I figured let's start it out with some knockouts action, Mr. Shepro. We have the Gauntlet for the Gold match to determine the number 1 contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship, and the participants are Alicia Edwards, Havoc, Kiera Hogan, Kimberly, Kylie Ray, Nevaeh, Madison Rayne, who was just announced last week on the Locker Room Talk segment, Rosemary, Susie, Tasha Steelz, and Taya Valkyrie. Before I give my pick, I'm actually going to let you go first on, Chef. Who are you going in the Gauntlet for the Gold to determine the number 1 contender for the Impact Knockouts Championship? I'll let you go first on this one, Chef.
It's tough for me because I love Taya Valkyrie. Anyone who knows me by now should know I'm a huge Taya Valkyrie fan. But I'm also a huge Su Yung fan, not much of a Susie fan. You know what I mean? And I know it's meant for her to look kind of, soft and cute and all that other stuff. So I think once again I'm going to stick with Taya Valkyrie, and I do think that she's had a great run as a champ. So I would love to see, part 2 of her great reign. But to be awesome. Geez, I was going to call her awesome, and I called myself awesome. That's crazy. That's the ego I'm working with is ridiculous.
I was about to say, Chef, we're supposed to be putting over the talent, not over yourself.
Yeah. That came out so wrong. To be honest with you, and it's so weird because obviously I always I always tend to like the bad guys. And Kylie Ray, she's kind of winning me over. It's weird because she's super bubbly and she's super friendly and she's always smiling, which is definitely out of my realm. But if Taya doesn't win, I have no problem with Kylie Ray taking that next step.
All right. And Nicola, your pick before I give mine.
Okay, well, you know how I always would go for Rosemary, and I am still her biggest fan, always. But right now, what they're doing with her and Tyre, I kind of cannot get my head around it. But that's just me. So whether I'm going to say Rosemary anyway, but I'm with Chef as well with Carly Ray because she's so cute and fluffy, and I just sit there going, "Oh," kind of thing. But Rosemary, definitely. If it's not, yeah, Rosemary. Go with her because, you know, demons stick together and all that. So,
Well, for me in this one, I mean, you look at the history here, and here's what's cool about it. A lot of these girls did the Wow Women of Wrestling promotion. You got Kiera Hogan, who, with her and Adrenaline Diamante, took on Havoc and Hazard, that being Nevaeh here. So all these girls are very familiar with each other. I'm going to say one name I don't think it's going to be, and that is Alicia Edwards. Another name I don't think it's going to be is Madison Rain. You know what's interesting? Because I was going to go with Kylie Ray, and I'm gonna go with Kylie Ray, but there's also that Susie Kylie Ray factor because she's very bubbly, smiley Kylie Ray, but I don't think Kylie Ray knows that Susie is Sue Young because she's so bubbly the whole nine. So there's an interesting dynamic there. The Rosemary Taya Valkyrie thing, where Rosemary it looks like has got the hots for Johnny Bravo, or they're doing something with what they're doing there, and Taya's kind of oblivious to that. There's a lot of factors there. Kimberly is kind of in that mold of she's got a thing going on with Nevaeh and Havoc, so I don't think it's Kimberly, but if I had to pick someone just because they are pushing her, I got to go with Smiley Kylie Ray. I love the bubbliness. I love her overall personality, so I'm going to go with Kylie Ray. And Tasha Steeles is also relatively new, so I think it's kind of soon for her. But as of right now, Kylie Ray, because she's got that push and that effect about her. But yes, very bubbly, very smiley Kylie Ray. And I love that theme song, that Ruthless, whoa, very bubbly. Has that word ruthless in it, so it's kind of like an oxymoron. Like you have your pretty uglies. We got ruthless, but she's smiling. Opposites attract. And no, I'm not talking about the Paul Abdul song. So I'm going with Kylie Ray to take the victory and become the #1 contender for the Knockouts Championship. Which will bring us to, and how apropos we go this route, the Knockouts Championship is on the line as Jordynne Grace defends against Deonna Purrazzo, who we last saw in the WWE as a part of the NXT roster. Man, she's been all over the place. Ring of Honor, NXT, Impact Wrestling. It's kind of a journey back to where she was because they focused on the one night only that she's done. I would not be shocked if they give Deonna the belt, but I think, you know what? I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say Jordynne Grace retains here, and maybe we'll see Deonna win at the next special, next pay-per-view, what have you, or on Impact. I think, and Deonna just came in, so I'm going to say it's going to be a hard-fought match, but Jordynne Grace is going to retain it. Chef, once more, take it away. Jordynne Grace or Deonna Purrazzo, the virtuosa, Chef.
Do you know I will always go for anyone over Jordana Grace. I don't like her. I think
yeah.
I don't think she's talented in ring. Like she's a decent worker, but I do not like her at all. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean she's not super awesome. It's just I'm not a fan of her. But Jorge pointed something out, and I didn't pay attention to it, and it made perfect sense. The first two episodes you've seen Deonna Purrazzo in, she puts Jordana Grace in an armbar.
Yep, that's her movie.
Each time she does it, Jordana Grace is being interviewed, and she never sells it as like she was locked into like a massive armbar. Like it was just like it was willy nilly, like she was good, like nothing happened. If you want to make a better story, act like she hurt you. Sell it. You know what I mean? Like, what happened?
No, I was going to say, I don't mean to cut you off, but I think Jorge brings up a great point because if you remember her work in Ring of Honor with the Women of Honor, they always focused on the fact that that's her big move in the arsenal, the Fujiwara armbar, and how she likes to break your arm because it's all about the systematic dissection, joint manipulation. She would always work over the arm, but every time, like you mentioned, like Jorge said, and he rightfully put it, you look at her doing interviews, she hardly sells the arm. It's just, I'm coming for you, Deonna Purrazzo. You want to attack me? This is not the right way to do it. I'm the champ the whole nine. But it's like, hey, yo, she's working on your arm. Sell the arm, sell how that is a devastating finishing maneuver, and that is a devastating maneuver done by the virtuoso. So she doesn't really kind of play into the fact of, my arm.
That's where a lot of a lot of people, I keep trying to tell them where they're like, this is amazing storytelling. It would be if she sold it. But here's my thing. When you see Deonna Purrazzo, who I don't know a lot, you know me, I watch very limited wrestling. I don't watch everything that's out there. I will not. I just don't have enough time, and I'm not going to do it. So I don't know a lot of people's work until I see them on like an Impact. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's wild because I seen her at the one night only. I was there. I thought she was pretty good. Blah 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 blah. You know, it was nothing special. I didn't really know her NXT work. I did see, I do watch NXT once in a blue, so I did see a little here and there. But then she comes here. Look at her body language when she comes out. She feels like a star.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like the way she moves around, the way she does everything, she feels like a legit superstar. So I'm definitely going to go for Deonna Purrazzo because I think that they need a real knockouts champ at this time. And I think right now, Deonna Purrazzo versus, the Rosemarys, the Tayas, the Suzies, the Kylie Ray, whoever comes out of that match is going to be such an amazing match. But if you have the Jordana Grace, you're going to see what you've seen the whole time. And like I said, I don't think she's special.
For me, and I'll add to this before we get Nicola's, prediction here. My thing is like Deonna Purrazzo, where she was in NXT, and she's pretty much come out and talked about being, unhappy in NXT. They were originally going to do something with her and Chelsea Green as a tandem, but then they went the route with Chelsea Green being with Robert Stone, the former Robbie E. For me, it's like they kind of just used her like, oh, let's have Deonna go out there. She wasn't really a focal point. I mean, we've seen her in the Mae Young Classic. For me, I remember seeing her on Long Island the first time, going for the New York Wrestling Connection NYWC Starlet Championship against Willow Nightingale, who would go on to be eye candy on Wow Women of Wrestling. So it's one of those things for me that, like, I've seen her do the loop, dare I say, around the way, girl. That's the one for me, to quote the great LL Cool J. She's been hitting the territories. She's been doing Ring of Honor. She's done a lot of NXT. She's done a lot of extra work for WWE. Then she finally gets signed, and she's kind of used very abysmally on the NXT roster. And I don't blame her for being upset. Now here we are on the focal point, Impact Wrestling. She's got the swag. She's got the virtuosa character. And I agree with you, Chef. She would be a top heel to go against the Kylie Rays and the baby faces in the Knockouts division. But I'm still sticking with my Jordan Grace thing just because I could see her, this continuing for the next.
Hold on. Before we go into Nicola, before we do that, you like to throw out that LL Cool J name because me and you did a retro music, like hip hop thing, right? And I did tell the story about how LL Cool J stole my one pant leg rolled up.
That you did. Go back and listen to that, Stephen Mike
Show. Go back and listen to that because I'm telling you right now, hip hop icon stole my one pant leg rolled up. I'm just saying. My fault, Nicola. I'm just pointing out a fact.
That's okay. I gotta just add something. Well, I gotta add something before you say there, Nicola. So pretty much what Jeff is saying, ladies and gentlemen, that he's something like a phenomenon, something like a phenomenon. So, Nicola, go ahead. Jordan Grace or Deonna Purrazzo? Knockout style on the line. Go.
Well, I don't actually know much about I can't say her name.
Deonna Purrazzo.
I don't actually know that much about her, whereas Jordan Grace, I do know about. I've watched her long enough, and I do still think she's a beast in the ring. She is something crazy, but I do think it's time to change it over a bit because it's been a long while now, and she always looks like she's huffing and puffing. I know it's meant to be the fact that she's like a badass, but sometimes I look at her and think, why are you doing that? Like when
she's intense, she's angry. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest with you. Know what that is? I'm going to say this right now. I've used this term on Max Wrestling to describe a particular someone, but Jordan Grace is bowed up. So, I mean, I understand that. I mean, you also have the specimen that she is. She's very strong, thick mama pumpish. She has the Scott Steiner sirens going on in her intro and the entrance music. So, I mean, I understand where she's coming from on that front. But yes, it kind of looks like she's blowing up, It's kind of like the Three Little Bears, huff and puff, she'll blow your house down. I digress. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Give your pick. Jordan Grace or Deonna Purrazzo.
This is the reason I love this show so much. Jordan Grace. But I don't know how much longer for, if that makes sense, because I actually do want to see it change, but because I don't know much about the other one in the ring with her, so it's Jordan Grace for now, but that could change maybe in the next couple of weeks.
So Nicola's going with Miss Grace. Yes. So all right. So there is your opinion on that bout. Let me go to the next one. Let's see where we can go. Okay, we'll do this one next. X Division Championship is on the line. Willie Mack taking on the Ultimate Finesser. He's like Bruno Mars. He's dripping in finesse that don't make no sense. Chris Bay, man, I got to tell you something. Watching Chris Bay, Future Stars Wrestling, going against the likes of Killer Cross. I mean, we've seen him on Ring Warriors going against Chef's favorite wrestler, Austin Aries, and I say that very sarcastically. So the man is
Very
a very
sarcastically.
very so he's a very talented individual. I mean, he was one of the hottest free agents before we even got him. Where my dog's at? Arf, arf. So before we even got to see Chris Bay on the Impact Wrestling front, I mean, he was doing the works. He was doing 205 Live. He was here on Ring of Honor. He was all over the place. One of the hottest free agents. AEW. Cody was talking about signing him, but he has chosen Impact Wrestling. I mean, you have the comedy factor with him and Johnny Swinger Daddy. And I mean, that whole 80s gimmick. But Chris Bay, you know, was just using him, which is kind of interesting and funny.
Don't get me started on Chris Bain. I mean, not Chris
Johnny
Bain. Don't
Swinger.
get me started on Johnny. Don't get me started on that guy.
You don't want to
Seriously.
take the gimmick? You don't want to be one of the Rizats, Nicola? We're talking about the Rizats.
No.
Okay. So
No, that dude is wrong. Dressing up as suicide. Come on.
I was about to get to that. There's the comedic aspect with Johnny Swing and dressing up as suicide, but I'm going to say this right now. This is possibly going to be one of the show stealers. Chris Bay, Willie Mack, Return of the Mack, Mark Morrison style. I mean, from Lucha Underground to wherever Willie Mack has been, NWA, MLW will be here all day. Willie Mack is one of those guys for his size, incredible athlete, the standing moonsaults, the stunner, that number one stunner, but wop. It's pop culture, people. It's what I do. So we have Willie Mack, Chris Bay. For me, there's a part of me that wants to see Chris Bay take it. I'm going to say this right now. This will be my first saying this. I think we're going to have a title change here. I'm going to go with Chris Bay, the Ultimate Finesser. I think it's about time, and I definitely cannot wait to see what he does with the X Division Championship. I'm all about Chris Bay all day, every day, so I'm going to take it over to Chef. An amazing athlete in both of them, Willie Mack, Chris Bay. Who are you going with?
You know, it's tough for me because when Willie Mack first came in, I did know his NWA work.
Yep.
And I was never really a fan of Willie Mack. And the more I've watched him on Impact, I really started to enjoy Willie Mack. So I would always go with somebody that I really, ever since Chris Bay has came in, I thought he's been hot. But I'm going to go Willie Mack, and I think that he has maybe another 2 pay-per-views left under that reign. I'm calling that. That's all I'm saying.
Well, all you're saying, baby, is you're going to go with Willie Mack, and that is very cool, Mr. Sheffro. But I'm going to say this right now because he does, and I agree with Chef that it could possibly continue into future pay-per-views. But I think right now you have the hotbed, you know what I'm saying? We talk about dripping and finesse. We got that hotbed, you know what I'm saying? He's on fire, Busta Rhymes style, meow, meow, meow. So I think Chris Bay's got that certain something about him, that flavor, if you will, bringing that flavor in your ear. There I go again, but I digress.
Ooh, did you just go Craig Mack got that brand new flavor?
1,000
my God.
1,000 degrees. Beg it, pretty please. Beg it on your knees, Chef. You know.
You know what's crazy? As soon as we get off of here, because I obviously have to make the graphic for it. That's the first song I'm putting on when I design this graphic. Because
You know.
oh my God, that's like, and I don't want to go too far off wrestling, but that's like one of Queens's like top 5 anthem is that Craig Mack brand new flavor in your ear. Like,
Yes.
woo, like right now, I wish I could just bang put that on, but it would mess up the audio. So I'll chill out.
You're fine, man. And then I was gonna say put on the remix to it, man. You know, with the champagne, the
With
bottle.
Biggie and everybody, oh, forget about it.
Bad boy. Yep. Okay. We'll be here all day. Back to wrestling. So, Nicola, Willie Mack, Chris Bay, X Division title on the line. Who you going with?
Right, one, I'm going to apologise for the dog barking. That was because Dave has just got in from work and he's sitting beside me.
Hey, if he's into DMX, that's cool. We could put on some, X gonna give it to you. What's my name? What y'all really want? It's okay. We understand.
Oh, chef's voice then. Say
So-
hello, Dave. Hey, say hello.
So, gentlemen.
Hello, how you doing, Dave?
Brother Dave, what's going on, baby?
Oh,
Okay.
Don't worry, he's just got in from work and he's literally doing the whole.
about 20 tons of shit and about another 30,
Yeah.
20 odd fucking miles.
Okay, I'm going to explain this. He is a dustbin man in the UK, and they have like one of the toughest. Well, it's probably the toughest jobs everywhere because they're keeping our streets clean. He's doing a lot of running in the day, and he's not getting any help doing it. And he's doing it on his own right now with just a driver and him. So he's always like he's knackered. So anyway, sorry, getting back to the podcast. My bad.
No worries.
My bad.
Willie Mack, Chris Bay, X Division Championship on the line. Are you going to go with the Ultimate Finesse, or are you going to go with Return of the Mack? Oh, Lord.
I think I'm going to go with Chris Bain because that dude is on fire. Every time he's in the ring, he's something new. I don't know. He's just, I really like him, and
I just got DMX in my head now. That's what it is.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, Chris Bain definitely.
It's one of those things where there was the video that came out where he was practicing the new move, and we've seen it in his matches. It's pretty much, it's like a springboard into a crucifix pin, which is actually very unique and it's something different because we've never seen that before.
Mike, he's now singing DMX out loud.
Is he really? Which song?
What one you?
X gonna give it to you.
He gonna give it to you.
Yeah.
Love it.
And there's him going, I won't ever be caught on mic. And I'm like, we've got you now. Twice.
You know what I'm saying? Snatch you up. You know what I'm saying? Put you in Redskins. We'll be here all day. So it's one of those things where we got Willie, we got Chris Bay. I love the new move, the whole springboard to the crucifix pin. Like I was saying, like we're going to get a classic here. It's going to be really, really good. So yes, myself included, Chris Bay, new X Division champ, dripping in finesse, Versace on the floor. Any Bruno Mars song out there is Chris Bay. I digress. We're moving on. Okay. Now, we will go to this bout before we get to the tag title bout. We're going to switch it up. All right. It's an old school rules match for the unsanctioned, in parentheses, TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Moose versus the innovator of violence, ECW legend, Tommy Dreamer. You know what? In this one, it's old school rules match. I got to go Moose in this because I've been loving what he's doing with the TNA title and just bringing the prestige back to that and just really, exemplifying what a true champion is during what happened with the whole Tessa Blanchard situation. And Moose, I mean, from Ring of Honor with going against the likes of Donovan Dijak, now Dominic Dijakovic in WWE as a part of the NXT brand, the dude's got it. He's taken on Cedric Alexander when Cedric Alexander had Veda Scott as his manager. I mean, Moose is very athletic since he first came into Impact, being with the Miracle Mike Bennett. So, I mean, I've always enjoyed what he's done there. The Grand Championship, we'll be here all day with Moose's accolades and, of course, the NFL. For me, Moose has been one of the highlights as a part of Impact Wrestling. I've always entertained with what he does, getting Dave Penzer to announce it, and he's just been been very prominent in his role. So I'm going to say Moose retains. I could see a possible return here, and here's where I'm going with this. You look at Tommy Dreamer, he's getting beaten down, and I'm going to say we're going to see the return of Eric Young, and we could set up a Moose-Eric Young feud for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, because when you think the brand TNA, many different incarnations of Eric Young, Don't Fire Eric, the Team Canada, we've seen him with ODB, the comedy aspect. When you think of TNA, one of the prominent TNA names is Showtime Eric Young, and yes, people will say, oh, his world title went over Magnus, was very good, very heartwarming, very, emotional. But it's one of those things where it gets compared to the Daniel Bryan win since it had just happened weeks prior to that during the 2014 time period. But when you think of TNA, one of the names that symbolizes and is synonymous with TNA is Eric Young. So I could see him appearing after this match. But my pick right now is what about the Moose? Moose, are you ready to go? Or whatever he says there. I love that song, goddammit. Anyway, I digress. Moose, Tommy Dreamer, who you going with, Chef? TNA Impact World Heavyweight Championship. TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line.
Well, I'm definitely not going with the dinosaur Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm going to cut you off.
Dinosaur.
I understand. I understand the dinosaur thing, the veterans. It's too much of the ECW legendary figures. I get it. I understand. But I got to say, that promo that he cut, talking about mediocre and talking about him being NFL, nobody paid a ticket. I love the passion. That's what I love about Tommy Dreamer, because he could hook you, get you invested with his promos. Because
Hold on. Wait. So he cut a good promo. Good. He cut a good one. But if we're going to go promos, right?
Yes.
Who would you say did a better one? Did you say it was Tommy Dreamer, or would you say it was Taz?
Okay. Taz fucking killed. Here's the thing: the FTW Championship. It's great you bring that back because that is synonymous with what it stands for. The World Championship. That goes back to the original ECW as well. Because yes, Tommy Dreamer cut that white meat babyface type of promos, but Taz was F the world, and that's how he legitimately felt. That's what made it special in ECW, and that's what made it special in ECW.
And that's my point. Is one of them is staying their asses outside of the ring and cutting dope promos and putting somebody else over. And Tommy Dreamer can't stay off of these pay-per-views. And I don't want to hear the thing that, well, because of COVID, people won't do that. That's absolute bullshit because you get a lot of independents, any country, any city, any state, any borough. You're going to have independents and you're going to have at least 4 or 5 guys who are ready to at least job to somebody. So the whole thing that Tommy Dreamer has to be on every single pay-per-view and has to be in this position, Moose is defending this title finally in a big spot, and you got it against old-ass Tommy Dreamer. What sense does that make?
Now, I will feed off of your boat up.
You're not wrong.
All right, let me feed off.
You know what it is that tell the truth. You're a Tommy Dreamer fan, and you want to defend. Okay,
well, first and foremost, I've met Tommy Dreamer, so absolutely, yes. I've had the pleasure.
I can feel it in your energy.
Hold on there, sir. I'm not going to be one of these fanboys that goes buck wild, but I'm going to say I've always enjoyed Tommy Dreamer's work, and I'm going to say this right now. He can invest you with the promos and the whole nine there. Do I want to see him wrestle? No, because he's getting older and I'm tired of seeing the ECW legends, but I can say I can appreciate what he's doing. And also with the Taz thing, Taz can't wrestle anymore, so put him with Brian Cage, because I'm going to say this right now. Brian Cage cannot talk, so you have the voice piece from Red Hook, Brooklyn, New York, the Red Hook section of Brooklyn, New York, Taz. So that's why it fits.
Red Hook, never run, never will. That's their slogan. I've always liked Taz, and not just because he's a New York guy. I like him because he's an aggressive person. Like, I love aggressive people. But here's my thing, is with such a young – listen, Impact has a very, very, very good, young, talented roster.
Yes, on the come up.
Yeah. Why don't you have guys like Desmond Xavier take a spot like that? Desmond is – they've done nothing with that poor kid, and he's the truth. But give one of these young guys that spot, especially at Slammiversary. Not only if they lose, because I'm pretty sure Moose is walking out winning anyway.
Yes.
But you can have one of these young guys push Moose, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, shit, like, this kid is legit. And then all of a sudden he's legit. Moose is legit. He's legit. And you have another building up. But, you know, the weakest creative crew in the world besides WWE. What do they call themselves? The Golden Bookers?
Oh yes, the Golden. Well, yeah, we've had the Golden Lovers. Now we got the Golden Bookers, and in fact,
they're more like the Golden Showers because they piss all over everything.
I know you were waiting for that. As soon as you said Golden, I'm like, here comes Chef with the Golden Showers reference. You never disappoint.
Yep.
Well, I'd also like to add to that because I will say this. No, I'm not defending the Golden Bookers on here, okay? I'm just going to say, follow what you said, talk about fanboys. You know you a Tommy Dreamer fan. Yes, I like me some Tommy Dreamer. It's okay. Thank you, Chef. I digress, sir. So it's one of those things where you look at what they're doing with Moose and Tommy Dreamer. And the thing is, too, besides Taz now living in Massapequa, if you don't remember those commercials, it's one of those things where I've always enjoyed what they've done. And Moose, I'm going to tell you right now, because a lot of people crap on Moose. I know Crooked Smile's not the biggest Moose fan, and nor neither was Jorge. He admitted it when you guys were talking about, Decay and the whole nine. But Moose is one of those guys that you just love him as a heel, and he can really resonate with people, and he deserves it because he's been Impact loyal through and through. He calls himself Mr. Impact Wrestling because he loves the company, and that's why I appreciate him. And you also mentioned Desmond Xavier, one of the young guys, and for me, and we're going to get to Trey when we get to the World Heavyweight title match, like, they've kind of just been used as, like, fodder. It's like, okay, we'll throw Desmond, we'll throw Zachary Wentz over here and do their thing, but they haven't really used prominence. It's like, okay, they're going for the tag titles. They're probably going to lose, but it's going to be a hell of a match. So he's kind of stuck in that tag team scene, you know what I'm saying? And he would have been a great X Division champ. He would be great in the X Division, but they just focused mainly on those two as the tag team. And, oh, here's Trey going for the world title because, the stuff with Ace Austin, which I understand, but it's just like, the Fresh Prince of Midair will get to him, but I'm like, I hear you with Desmond Xavier because they had something, but they just relegated him to the tag team division.
The thing that he does so well is he puts a smile on everybody's face.
Your show.
We are going to steal the show.
I guess it's time for a new order.
Have you seen Max Wrestling?
I will show you the light.
We're talking about me. We're talking about the podcast machine.
Your boy, Moses Marquez.
Same day, new era.
We are the best at this.
Max Wrestling Podcast every single Thursday. Go to maxwrestlinguk.weebly.com for more information.
What does the shape have to say?
Shape.
It's time to shape up.
It's time for you to prove that you are more than a one-headed wonder.
It's only right for us to set that bar, to set that standard.
I take the shape of whatever I need to be. Travis Anderson, your time has come.
Max Wrestling presents Promo Slam August 20th. Go to maxwrestlinguk.weebly.com for more information.
I will move this on over to you, getting off my soapbox. Moose, Tommy Dreamer, the innovator of violence, representing Yonkers, New York, that being Tommy Dreamer. Who you going with for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, I'm the same, I suppose, that I was never... When Moose first came in, I liked him a lot, and I'd always be doing the Moose chant, always, no matter what. And then it went to that stage where he was... Oh, what's the best way to put it? A jerk, we'll put it that way. And then he kind of has grown back on me again. I love Tommy Dreamer. Sorry, Chef. But I do. And I've always been a big fan of his. I've not met him, like obviously Mike has, but I have always been a fan. But this one has got to be Moose, because I do actually want to see Moose with that title belt round him, because he's doing a better job than Tessa Blanca ever did. So, yeah, I've said it.
Hey, I mean, truth is truth on that front, and especially with what's been coming out with Tessa Blanchard. And I mean, for me, hey, I'll always be biased because House of Hardcore came to Long Island a lot, and they had a lot of great shows, so I'll show my bias there. And to quote Chef before we move on to the next match, the motherfucker is a bird. You're welcome, Chef. I said it for you. So Tommy
I love it when he says that. I absolutely, even when he's referring to me and he says that, someone says that and he goes, "It's a bird." I'm like, yeah.
It's a bird. But hey, he ain't even a bird. He's a motherfucker Tyrannosaurus Rex, motherfucking dinosaur over here. All right, so moving on to the next match. Tag team titles are on the line. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's a makeshift team. I'm talking about the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan. I see you using Shotzi Blackheart's old theme song, taking on the North. All Ego Ethan Page and the walking weapon Josh Alexander. Okay, I know they're the longest tag team and we got the makeshift teams, but I also see Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan's feud continuing. They have the common enemy in the North because they're cocky, they're brash, they're young, they're the North. What's that all about? Whoop whoop. We got the North, the very talented Canadians. I'm joking. I'm teasing here, but very talented. I mean, All Ego Ethan Page is a great heel. You don't have to like him, and that smirk every time he waves, you just want to smack him across the face. He's come a long way since the Chandler Park days. Walking weapon Josh Alexander is just tremendous for his size. Amazing moves smoothly. He's very crisp. And then you got Ken Shamrock, MMA legend, but yeah, he's like in his mid-50s, and I'm like, okay, we're going to keep putting him in here. All right. And Sami Callihan is one of those guys who's just very loyal to the company, and he's very creative, and he's come a long way since the Solomon Crow days, and he's always been a mainstay, whether it be the Indies, whether it be Pro Wrestling Revolver, and his work with OVE, and thus far as now with the singles run, being a former Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. But for me in this one, you got to keep it on the guys. I want to see them have a continued lengthy reign. I got to go with the North. All Ego Ethan Page and walking weapon Josh Alexander. Why? Because to quote Chef, the motherfucker is the truth. So I'm going to go on to Chef next. Who you going with? The North or Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan? Go.
I wish I could say none.
None? Okay.
I don't like the North. I've never liked Chandler Park, and that's his name. I'm never going to call him his other name.
Okay.
So
Yes,
Chandler Park will never get that. Now, Josh Alexander, him I like. I think he's the truth. I really like that kid. I think he's super talented, and Impact has a world heavyweight champ as soon as they really open their eyes and want to actually push that. But Ken Shamrock, I've been over Ken Shamrock 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, enough of Ken Shamrock. I don't want to see him no more. This is just another way for Impact to put Sami Callihan in some bullshit, to not push him and keep him like just doing irrelevant garbage. The ICU gimmick could care less. Anybody, I want one of you people to tell me what's the difference between ICU Sami Callihan versus Sami Callihan OVE. What's the difference?
Okay, so
There isn't.
There isn't.
Hold on. I'm not defending it, but I'm just going to say this. The different layers that they're adding with the ICQ character is kind of similar to what he was going for when he was in NXT and Solomon Crow that he did not get a chance to do. So that's why I'm going to just add that point. But yes, there's a lot of similarities. That's the only difference. Go ahead.
His whole demeanor and energy and his whole character is the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have Ken Shamrock, who, listen, the one thing I actually like is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I dig that.
Yep.
That I dig because if I got beef with someone and you got beef with somebody, let's deal with them and then me and you could deal with each other later. That's real shit. Like, that's real, you know, it is what it is. But I dig that part of it. But at the end of the day, you definitely know they're not winning. So you're going to have the North win, which I think it's ridiculous that you pushed this team that far, this fast. So unfortunately, the North wins. And hopefully Sami Callihan bust up Ken Shamrock soon and make him retire.
I'm going to say this right now. Chef pretty much saying right there, you know, let's squash that beef and let's take care of these before we get back to us. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I like your style there, Mr. Chef. I do. I truly do.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. I also just like to add the fact that, you know, Chef, do you got like wax in your ears or something, man? Because I already said to you, man, you know, that motherfucker is the truth. I was referring to Walking Weapon Josh Alexander. Are you like, do you like Bullwinkle? Are you going to What's the Matter You University? What's the matter, Chef, right? What's the matter?
Listen, hey, forget about it. Listen, what I'm going to tell you is I hit 40. I hit 40. And 39 into 40 was a rough year. So maybe I'm losing my hearing. I don't know. You know, I'm just keeping it honest with you. I got two kids, 19, 13. I probably wanted to, I can't even say that, but they stress me out. You know what I mean? But
you're like
agreed.
You're like Be Cool. You're like Be Cool, the movie with Vince Vaughn and John Travolta. Get the wax out of your goddamn ear, Chef. That's what you got to get the wax out of your goddamn ears.
Listen, you clean your stinking ears, you. All right, forget about it.
Yes. Oh man, make them.
Okay, this is gonna make you laugh because Chef Dave is exactly the same as you. He hits 40 in December, and yeah, he says exactly the same thing as what you just said all the time. So he gets it. Trust me, he gets it.
All right, Nicola, now your pick. Right. The North, Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander, and All Eagle, Ethan Page, or Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan. Tag titles on the line. Go.
Okay, so I don't like the whole Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan thing anyway. I know, like Chef said, you said, Sami is always put in the pay-per-views to put someone over, but never put himself over. So that's frustrating to watch a little bit because he probably could do so much more. Also, Ken Shamrock, as Chef said as well, is too old to be, like, he's just old. He shouldn't even be in the ring anymore. I've said that before as well. But I don't like Ethan Page, and we all know this because I've said this before. He used to, I didn't like him when he was Joseph Park's nephew.
Cousin.
Ethan, yeah, didn't like him then. But it's going to stay on the North because Sami and Ken Shamrock are not going to be able to be on the same page with each other when they fight him, especially if they went by what they did last week to the North when Sami just stood there glaring at him as if to say, what the hell? And I thought, no. So I don't think they're going to be a good dynamic. So I stand on the North for now, as much as I don't like the North, but yeah.
So pretty much what you're saying, and to quote the great Chefro who is on this call, then the three of us that make the great triple threat that we are, you can't fucks with the North, is what you're saying, Nicola?
Pretty much, yeah.
You know what also pisses me off now that you said that?
Yes.
All right. Now, I'm a Toronto Raptors fan.
Yeah,
their line.
It's Carter, bro. It's Carter.
Fact, their line has been "We the North" forever. And these birds want to disrespect the whole country, even though I know one of them or both of them is from Canada. I don't know if Josh Alexander is.
They're both from Canada.
But "We the North" is not you, homie. You don't play basketball. Stop stealing their shit. That pisses me off on another level. We the North goes to my 2019-20 Toronto Raptor NBA champions. Bomb.
First and foremost, yes, I'm aware of this being a basketball fan. And number two, you know you're just mad because Toronto Raptors Vince Carter. We ain't talk about you motherfuckers from the North. We talk about Vince Carter. The truth is what it is. Put fucking Vince Carter back in the dunk contest, baby. Facts. Ain't that right, Chef?
Let's get it.
All right. Thank you, Julius Smokes. Moving on to the main event of Slammiversary. We already at the main event, guys. It is now a fatal four-way matchup for the vacant Impact World Championship. Nicola's favorite wrestler, Ace Austin, versus Eddie Edwards. Versus Trey of the Rascals, the Fresh Prince of Midair, Trey Miguel. And to be determined, we have one final spot left. Now, I am going to go with the one final spot left. Now, the rumor and innuendo, if you will, is either EC3. There's also been talks of Bully Ray because Ice and Ites may be coming back. So it's either I'm going to say it's going to be the mystery person. I'm hoping it's EC3 and he wins the world heavyweight title. And also so I could sing Trouble, 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 Trouble.
I have missed
trouble,
that.
trouble,
I'm not going to lie. I have missed that song.
So I'm going to go with TBA. Whoever that's going to be, I'm going to go with EC3. And hopefully it's EC3, new Impact World Heavyweight Champion, but there's going to be a new champion. Chef, Ace Austin, Trey Miguel, Eddie Edwards, or the to-be-determined competitor?
You know, it's definitely going to be the to-be-determined guy. If not, I'll stick with Eddie Edwards if it's Bully Ray. So that's going to be my counterpart. If it's Bully Ray, I want Eddie Edwards, which is surprising, but oh well.
Hey, wait, hold on. Mister, friggin' booing Eddie Edwards out of the impact zone there, sir.
Bro,
you're just going to go with Eddie Edwards? I know.
Bro, like, this has been, like, maybe, like, 3 months of me backing Eddie Edwards. Like,
who are you when you done with Chef?
Yeah. Like, someone threw that out there. Now, here's the thing. Eddie Edwards, as much as I booed him, and I always say this, he's one of the nicest people you can ever meet in this industry. I will always say that. I've never been a fan of him. But with Impact never coming back to Florida, he's one of the last Impact Zone talents that I got to see. So I'm going to rep my Impact Zone people. So him being one of the last standing tall, I'm going to pick Eddie Edwards as long as if it's Bully Ray, right? Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be EC3. So if EC3 comes in, EC3 has to win. I'm going with the homie. Now, the crazy part is I got to do a podcast tomorrow. And I don't want to tease it here because then it devalues what I'm going to do tomorrow.
All right.
But I talked to somebody. I'm not going to say who. I talked to somebody, and it might happen. If this person comes in, I got a scenario of why this person will win. And it's going to be sick if they do what I think they do. But I'm not going to say that, but we're going to stick with EC3 because, listen, the world needs a Carter.
No.
All right there, Mr. Aunt D. Okay. First of all, we all know you love Dixie Carter. And
That's my baby. Don't do that. Don't do that, you. If you try to say some reckless,
I'm gonna say. Okay, first of all, I'm not Jorge. I'm not Jorge. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Madam Dixie's my lady. I love that woman to death.
Okay, first and foremost, Miss Madam Dixie, president of the fan club over here. I'm just gonna say I was always entertained. People give Dixie Carter a bad rep. Yes, we hear the history, but I've always enjoyed her on camera and all that. And she's always, and from you know what it is too. People crap on her with how she runs company and stuff, but if you actually look at her, very nice woman, and comes off very genuine. I know you've met Dixie Carter, but it's one of those things where it's like look, she's genuine and she appreciates what she does. Does she? Okay, people have not run the best. I mean, look at WCW, had people like Jim Herd and the Ding Dongs and all this crap back in the day, all right? So give the woman a break, you know what I'm saying? We've seen worse, but yes, Dixie Carter, I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not one of the haters that always, got to hate on Dixie Carter. Look, she had very prominent years with TNA. There's a lot of great years that happened. Saw people like Christian Cage, Kurt Angle will be here all day. But some of those best years with TNA from that era ran with Dixie Carter as the president. So shush. Okay.
Larkin, can I ask you a question before we go into Nicola?
Yeah, man.
Okay. She still has very small percentage in the company, right?
Yeah, very minute, very small. Yes.
Okay, how cool would it be? Obviously, me, I'm fangirling right now.
All right.
How
Yeah.
cool would it be if that music hits and Dixie Carter's standing at the ramp with EC3?
That would be.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
would be cool.
All right. Okay. All right. Now that Chef has, cried his 96 tears and showed his love for and so
Ignore him.
let's go to the main event here. Nicola, who are you picking? EC3. EC3 or whoever the do be determined is. Trey Miguel, the Fresh Prince of Midair, your boy Ace Austin, or Eddie Edwards?
Ace Austin, boo. No, not happening. I do know who I think, and I really, really want it to be. I love Chef's idea, but there's only one who I really, really, really want to see come back right now. And I do love Bully Ray. I do love all the originals, but there's only one that I want to see stand at the top of that ramp, rocking his head off like a crazy dude. Eric Young.
Yeah, baby.
I want to see Eric Young come down that ramp and basically batter the shit out of Ace Austin. That's what I want to see.
Nicola, do you want Eric Young or do you want the world-class maniac Eric Young?
World-class maniac Eric Young.
Boom. That's what I'm with you.
Yeah. Now, since you just said that, Chef is going to campaign for Bram to come back and put Eric Young and Bram to come back.
I want Bram back too. I'm campaigning with you, Chef.
Right, Chef? Right?
Listen,
Right.
I tried to get some info from him. I hit him up recently and I got the, hey, you never know, you never know. So,
Hey man, he's come a long way since the Kenneth Cameron days as a part of the Ascension with Connor. So hey, he has one of the best. To quote my friend Chef over here, the big homie. Ain't that right, Chef?
Facts. I mean, here's the thing. See, you get me started with the big homie. That's my dude. I love Brandon to death.
That's right.
And it's funny, I always like to throw this out there. The last person that ever defended the King of the Mountain belt in the King of the Mountain title shot in their match rules and everything was Bram. Yep. So the last true King of the Mountain was Bram. Bring him back. Bring him back home.
All right.
Yeah.
Now that Chef has showed his fandom for the big homie and Aunt D, honey, let's go back to Nicola for a second here. All right. It's Mr. Opponent, Trey Miguel.
Sorry.
Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, or Eddie Edwards. So who you picking? I know you're not picking Ace Austin because he reminds you of one of those dudes in the emo video that he really is all about that goth days. It's like punk rock. I went to the concert, want to make you my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like the dude that used to shove in lockers in high school. So I'm gonna ask you, who you going with in the Fatal 4-Way?
Can I shove him in a locker in high school and leave him in there for a little while?
He looks like one of the skater dudes, man. He's got the purple hair. He's got gauges. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just go home and play some Tony Hawk Underground, man? I see what you're saying. Hope he falls off a skateboard. Breaks every bone in his body is what you're saying. You're like
literally.
Fall off the roller coaster. Why don't Ace Austin? Anyway, who you picking?
Exactly everything you just said. Let's bury him. But if it's not, obviously, like I said, Eric Young or whatever, I want to see Trey. I do want to see Trey do something because as much as I loved him versus the Ace Austin,
I just think Ace Austin, yes.
Yeah, I just want to see him beat. I just want, as long as it's anyone else can win, but Ace Austin. That's the only one I do not want to see there. If you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I'd love if you actually listened to this and heard this and went, yeah, I like you too.
So I will just add to that. So obviously, Nicola does not want Ace Austin to win the title. Now, Chef, I'm going to say this. How pissed will you be if Ace Austin wins the title? The one true ace, Chef. The one true ace.
Yo, bro, I can't stand that nerd. Like, I really can't. Like, I don't like his gimmick. He looks like a cornball. Like, he looks like the kind of dude that you look in the street and he looks at you and you're like, yo, why did that Herb just look at me? And you walk up and slap him they do nothing.
Yep.
What?
Hold on there, Mr. Herb. It's the opposite to track Paul Abdul style thing because, you go into the streets and, you see people like you know what I'm saying? 40 deuces, baby. And then you get people like Ace Austin coming in and he's putting on like the punk rock, maybe some Blink 182 while you're at it. And then you just look at him like, why are you playing that shit in my hood? Is that right, Chef?
No, you know what it is? And I'm going to be honest with you. I tell people all the time, like, I'm 5'7". I wear glasses. I got straight hair. How intimidating can I be? but I do have people that sit there and they're like, damn, like, and I hear this all the time from everybody that knows me. Like, they're like, yo, there's mad pain in your eyes. So my eyes tell you a story. So if we lock eyes, there's no sucking these eyes. I see his eyes and I'm like, this dude is a bird. Like, you're lucky you're a wrestler to try to portray you're a tough guy, because in real life, now I don't know if he's a bird or not, but from what I see on TV, this dude looks like the kind of dude you slap him and you're like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and bleed? That's how he looks.
I'll make you a deal. If he wins, I'll summon the Demoness on the day he wins, and she'll go on a live and go on a massive rant about what a prat he is.
You just want to bury him. You know, here's the thing. He's doing what you want him to do because he's a heel. You're supposed to hate him, man. He's got the card. He uses the ace. You know what I'm saying? He uses the cards, man, to give you a little paper cut action up in there. It's true heel. It's a true heel. And then you got the Fresh Prince of Midair Trey. I mean, it's going to be a very good match. But I think if the to be determined, the 2BA, if you will, daddy, does not win the championship, I will be upset. So I'm going to go with either EC3 or Bully Ray or whoever the TBA is. I'm praying it's EC3 because I'm just going to say right now, if there's any person that's a perfect fit to come back, I mean, come on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trouble, trouble, trouble. We'll be here all day because trouble, trouble, trouble is going to happen if EC3 doesn't come back. So, yes. And that is your Slammiversary card. We have went through all the 6 matches. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a hell of a week for wrestling. We have Saturday, the first time ever on a Saturday for Slammiversary, followed by Extreme Rules. Then we have more coming from the AEW front. So what a time for professional wrestling. And that'll do it for Slammiversary. So before I do my plugs and we plug what we have going on, I'm actually going to step back and say, Nicola, please promote the social media where we can follow you, the Demoness. I come to caress, going to take your soul, put you in a hole. I'm the Demoness. Go ahead.
Right. Well, number one, everyone listen to Jokerz. Everyone listen to Max Wrestling because we're all obviously in the promo league there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is Nicola Mac854 under the Demoness. If you want to follow me on 853, sorry, Mike knows better than me because I am very forgetful when it comes to my plugs. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Nicola MacDonald, Dave Smith. And yeah, pay attention to all of our promos because they are amazing and we get the pleasure of working with some very good, talented people. So watch the promo league. You will not be disappointed. Trust me. I know.
Well, I will say this. You can follow me, SM Show 1 or MCL92 on the Twitter machine. StephenMikeShow.com. You can check me out on the Wrestling with Wrestling show with Andre Corbeil. The first 2 episodes are out right now with Rohit Raju and Ronak Amin and Dwight Davis from Real Canadian Wrestling. You can check me out with Lingerie Fighting Championships, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are. We are 60 episodes in. And you can check out the t-shirt on Teespring for Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC podcast. We also have another one here. Check out the Jokerz Club podcast, the whole 9 with what they do with LFC, which we appreciate you guys. So just keep doing what you're doing. Support Jokerz Club. Support StephenMikeShow.com. Support Max Wrestling Podcast. I will be back officially on the show soon. All 3 of us are competing here. And before, Chef, why have you do your thing? I'm going to just say this right now. Nicola will be defending the promo championship against the winner of the 2nd annual King of the Mic, which Jokerz Club's own Crooked Smile is in. His bout with the Phoenix is coming up very, very soon. And I will be competing on the pre-launch show against fellow judge Daniel Crimmins. And Chef, this is where you come in because you will also be in a promo exhibition bout at Promo Slam against my opponent in November, my co-host on the Pop Culture History Podcast, the one and only Miss Brittany Savage, former tag team partner of AJ Lee. She's been around the game in the professional wrestling scene, took on Beth Phoenix on SmackDown back in 2009. So she has been around all the way, every day, around the way, girl. I'm just saying it just because, you know, your love for LL Cool J. So I digress. Chef, thoughts on going against Brittany Savage at Promo Slam, man, and talk, man. Do you think?
Oh, no, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a real New York City person versus a Long Island person, which is not part of New York City.
Hey, hold on. Wait a minute, man. Don't disrespect the LI. Do not disrespect
Sean. I got to do it. I got to do it. Like, if it wouldn't be me if I didn't do that.
Hey, you're going to put some respect on Strong Islands.
Nah, listen, it's going to be a lot of fun. She's a beautiful young lady, very talented. You know, like, I have no problem winning, losing to any of these people. I think they're all amazing people. It's a lot of fun. Um, it is what it is. I also never plug myself. The only thing I'm going to say is just put Jokerz Club Pod on anything. It should pop up. Please follow, like, subscribe. Make sure you do it to everybody else's. And listen, if you want to see some wild ass sugar honey iced tea, watch this promo league. You'll get some laughs. You'll see some wild dope stuff, and you might see a few corny people. I faced one of them, turd. Um, but yeah, you'll see some really dope stuff.
And I'll add to that just because, first and foremost, number one, it's a great way to artistically express yourself, and we tell great stories with our words and our overall verbiage when it comes to the promos. Also, number two, Chef, I don't need to tell you how pretty I am.
Yeah. It's crazy, and I'll leave it with this: is when someone sits there and says, "I don't know anything about you," but then they start talking about you playing football and obviously going through all your photos and everything, but you don't know much about me, and you still get an ass whooping. Yeah, not too good. But he was a bird. He was a bird. But it was a lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, we've kicked it with you. We laughed with you. We vented with you. I think we're out of here. Is the Demonversary over with?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have one more thing to plug though that I forgot, and I'm getting the dirtiest look from my son right now, and I promised him I'd do this.
Yes, the Twitch.
Yeah. So my son is best known in our promo league for Demoness because he obviously does it with me. But he's a gamer and he's on Twitch. And if any of you have kids or if anyone's a gamer and they want to see what he can do, please follow him because he is quite talented, not just in our promo league, but in reality as well. So if you
What's
could,
his Twitch?
it's I had it up a second
I
ago.
got it. It is, if you want to follow her son Wraith on Twitch, it is Vader7396.
Thank you, Mike. But yeah, that's his plug. So if any of you want to watch him game or, just spread the word, he'd be very grateful for it. So yeah.
Listen,
And
don't
I
follow
would be too.
anybody.
Thank you.
Listen, I'm going to ask you for one thing. Don't follow none of us stuff that we just said. Don't follow. Follow the little kid. Help support this kid. Show him love and everything else. This is how you get the next generation to come up. Support the little guy.
Yep. Support the youngins.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. It was obviously a great time. Anytime I get to work with these guys, I love it. So hopefully we'll have this up. Like I said, Crook is MIA. We don't know where the hell he is. So I'm going to send this over to him and we'll have some good times. Ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here.